Good morning. Good morning. Hello. Let me know when you come on. Make sure to say hello. I'm Teresa with Teresa Rene Art, and we are doing project workshop. We're going to be doing an ornament today. Hello. Hello. Good morning, Sue. How are you? Hi, Teresa. Good morning, friends. Thank you guys so much for being here. Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern. One of my favorite hours of the week. Special thank you to Avetta, who covered for me last week while I got to enjoy some downtime with hubby. Hello, Therese. Hi, Sheila. Hi, Luann. Hi, Cindy. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, it's very cold, very cold. I went downstairs this morning and I wondered why my living room was so drafty. Well, it turns out I left my garage door open all night long. So all that wind from outside was making its way in the house. So anyway, my heater worked a little overtime last night. Hello, Carol. Good morning, everybody. Hope you guys are doing fantastic. We'll give it a few minutes for some people to come on. My girls had sleepovers last night. They had some friends over, and they went to the hot tub. They stayed in the hot tub for like 2 hours last night because it was so cold out there and they didn't want to get out. But they had a nice time. So, hello, Beth. Hello, everybody. Hope you guys are doing fantastic. Come on in. That was a super pretty candle that Yvette did last week. I caught a little bit of it. I didn't get to catch the whole thing. Hello, Dana. But yeah, so we're going to continue on with the theme of ornaments. I hinted a little bit earlier on my page that we are actually going to be having an auction with all of the ornaments that I have made. That is going to take place on Wednesday. The beautiful and very helpful, lovely Terry Lightsey is going to be helping me with my auction on Wednesday evening. It's going to be around 8 p.m. Eastern time, you guys. And we're going to be, let's just take a look at some of the things that we're going to have. This is my my auction preview, you guys. Lots of back pain, falling apart a little bit. I know it happens. You just start to fall apart. I have no idea what the temperature is here right now. It's got to be in the 30s or something. It's cold. But here are a few of the things that I've made. I'm going to turn my camera down so you can see. Hold on, I don't have my other camera plugged in, but I want to show you some of the things that I'm going to have in the auction. And then I want to talk a little bit about what I'm doing this time. And why I've been creating ornaments so frantically for y'all. Okay, so let's put this one to the side. So here are a few of the ornaments that you're going to be able to get. And these are going to be individual. So the price points on these hopefully should be very reasonable since we're auctioning them like, as singles. But we have some double-sided mirrored ornaments. So we have 3 of those, one with the angel, one with the fleur-de-lis, one with the little house. And I just love these. I think they're so pretty. And then we have the shabby chic ones. You guys might remember the crown one that I did. This was on my resin demo. I did the crown. And then I did 3 more in that same style. I think this one's my favorite, the kitty cat with the book. And the clear resin with the ice crystal paste. If you didn't catch that, it's the resin demo that I did. It was a 2-hour long demo. We actually finished this one on that demo, so you can see how to do that. I haven't done the mirrored ones live yet, y'all, and I actually had planned on it, but I ran out of mirror mist. It's coming back in stock hopefully this week. So if I'm able to, I'll try to do the mirrored one maybe next week. Actually, I'm not going to be able to do the mirrored one next week because my normal time slot next week. This same time slot, you guys, I'm going to be doing a benefit for Robin's song for the Play, Grow, Become. We are going to be doing an ornament, but it's going to be a little bit different. You'll actually be able to get that ornament as soon as my live is done, and it's an all-day thing, so you'll have to stay tuned. So that's next week. Maybe the week after we'll do a mirrored one. And then these I finished last night, some little mice ornaments. They're so cute. So anyway, we have 10 of these smaller ones. And then we have a few special ones. Of course, we've got the drums that we did. So this one, I actually made a matching box to go with it. And it's the one that I did for my demo here. So this one is going to be available as well. Comes with the matching box. And then this one is going to be, this is the one that this one is like been so popular, but this one comes with the matching box as well. And it's the one that I took the class. You guys, I can't teach this one because I actually took a class on how to do it. So this is from Anaya Carlucci's class, you guys. But anyway, you're going to be able to bid on this one as well. And again, it comes with the matching box. So the purpose, and then the one we finished today, of course, will be available, and the 2 drums and a few other things. But let me just come back at you. The purpose of the auction on Wednesday, you guys, and I'll talk about this a little bit. The benefit is for, it's a local radio host here in Atlanta. His name is Clark Howard. Every year he does a benefit fundraiser for Clark's Kids is what they call it. 100% of the proceeds for Clark's Kids every year goes to benefit children in foster care and finding and getting Christmas presents for children in foster care. And one thing you may not realize, and I don't talk a whole lot about my personal life all the time, but I don't know how many of you know that my 2 older girls, Elizabeth and Emily, were both adopted from foster care. And they actually are my biological cousins. And they, my husband and I, we had Evan. I was 40 when I had Evan. We wanted to have another child, but unfortunately, the biology of being 40 made that very difficult. So God had another plan for us, and my 2 older girls, Elizabeth and Emily, they were my cousins who I knew. I had met them one time, and I kind of kept track of them, but they ended up in a really bad situation, and I don't want to get emotional, but they ended up in foster care out in Colorado. And, I wasn't super close. Like, I wasn't close with their parents. He's my second cousin, their dad. But I knew enough about the dynamics of the family and the household that I knew I wanted to sort of keep an eye on these 2 sweet little girls. And I had become friends with them on Facebook, the parents, and I realized suddenly that they weren't posting anymore. Like, they had sort of just stopped communicating with everybody. So I checked around. I asked around about what was going on. And as it turns out, the parents had fallen into some difficult times and made some choices that were not the best for the children. And the children ended up in a foster placement. And so, of course, my heart fell. This was, it seems like forever ago, but at the time it was just so all consuming. And anyway, to make a very long story short, the foster placement that they were in, I could not have asked for a better situation for them. It was just a beautiful family, and they were loved on, they were thriving, they were taken care of, but the family couldn't adopt them. And so, Jeff and I had been trying for more kids and nothing was happening. And I just felt this is what our family was supposed to do. And so we were able to bring them to our home And ultimately, we were able to adopt them. It was, and I'm very private on Facebook for that reason. Like I don't have a lot of personal on my personal account. I don't, it's very locked down, but that's really the reason why, is because I'm very protective of them and their story, So anyway, when they came to live with us, it was it was perfect. I mean, you wouldn't be able to tell that they weren't that they weren't biologically Evan's sisters. I mean, they look like me. They act just like, they are my daughters. And so anyway, I wanted to put that out there on my heart, because this is something I've wanted to do for a long time, is to find a way to make these things that I make, right? This year, I wanted it to be meaningful. So I hope that if you do come to the auction and you purchase one of these pieces, you are also taking a little bit of my story and my family's story home with you. So that's what I wanted to share with y'all this morning. That's going to happen on Wednesday. And probably I probably won't go into as much detail about the history or backstory during the auction on Wednesday, because it's going to be pretty fast and furious. It's a lot, and I have so much respect for foster parents. And I'm reading this book, the Demon Copperhead novel, which is based on David Copperfield, kind of about kids in the system. And I tell you what, I just feel so fortunate that we were able to give our girls a good home, and they didn't have so many of the experiences that some of these kids in foster care have. So anyway, anything that we can do to help them and to help them have at least just a memorable Christmas is kind of the point. So without further ado, thank you guys for being so kind and indulging me and sharing that story. Without further ado, we are going to start our Christmas ornament, you guys. And, the Play Grow Become auction benefit that I'm going to be doing next Saturday is certainly ties into kind of the same sort of thing. That also goes to benefit kids with unfortunate circumstances who need some help funding some of their sports related activities and whatnot. So that is also a very, very good cause, you guys. So let this season just sort of be less about yourself, if you can, and more about how you can help others. All right, so let's talk about this ornament. Let me grab a blank. I have done a fair amount of prep work already because of drying time and whatnot. So I'm going to talk you through what I've done. Let me grab a blank if I have one. Do I have a blank? I don't think I have a... okay, here we go. So... this is basically a clear, me too, Teresa. I'm really excited for that. They aren't, Sheila. They aren't valued at all. And, you hear a lot more bad stories than you do good stories. And that's why I wanted to share this positive story. Like I said, the lady who had my children before we brought them home, I could not have asked for a better placement. It was so supportive. They still consider that lady's children their sisters. They call them their half sisters, which I fully support. So anyway, this is this is the base that we're using. I would say this is, I don't even know how big this is, but I would say it's probably 10 to 11 centimeters in diameter. It's just a plastic ornament that I got from Amazon, and I glued it together. I did not use bonding primer on this. What I did instead is, and this is a really good alternative to use on plastic, I used 2 coats of the primer paste, the gesso, this one, and I painted it on. I used 2 coats of it, and then I lightly sanded it so that it would be smooth. And that gives you a nice tooth to grab the paint. Yes, I was talking about my girls, Betty. Okay, and oh, Sarah's going to be on. Oh, that's awesome. I'm so excited to see her. Okay, you guys, so what I did, I used, this is a Prima mold here. This is the Astrid mold, and it's actually a round mold, but when I put it in clay, I was able to stretch it to kind of elongate it. I did that in clay, so I've already glued that on. It's dry and ready to be painted. That's the Astrid mold from Prima. And then along the sides, I did a belt. So we're kind of simulating Santa's, oh, Sue, I don't have my glasses. I gotta get my glasses. Yeah, I will run and get my glasses in just a minute. Okay, so this is a Santa belt, and this is a Katie Sue mold, you guys. So it's just like a little belt. I put this one on, and then I put these bands here along the side. And then I used this one. This is also a Katie Sue mold, but I think this actually happens to be a knockoff generic one, which I don't support. I definitely support, but this, I didn't realize at the time that this was a knockoff. So please forgive me, but the original one is a Katie Sue mold. So I put like just part of this one. This is like the fasteners. So I didn't do the whole thing. I just kind of did this one along the sides to help tie it in and connect it. So this is the configuration of the molds that I did, you guys, just so you know what I did. Hopefully that's pretty self-explanatory. And it's just done with clay. It's glued on, and now it's fully dry, and I did prime it with the primer paste. And then we are going to, I'm going to go run and get my glasses, and then we're going to get started. I will be right back. Okay, I also grabbed my water while I was, oh my gosh, Rennie, it's just, I maybe should, you know, Betty, I have like 20 pairs of them, so I maybe should just keep some in here. What happens is I wear them, like I had some, I kind of collect them and bring them back in here. And then I ended up wearing them, and they all kind of one by one leave. So I've got to do that again. I got to go collect them all and bring them back in here. But we're going to use my Santa. We're going to use this little guy, and the size. So this comes in about a bajillion different sizes this year, because we've got the tag paper, we've got the minis papers, and then we have them both in A3. So like pretty much any size that you need in this print, these prints, you'll be able to get it this year, because we did it in so many different configurations. But the size that works for him, this is the Christmas 9-pack DQRP 0703 in A4 size. Okay. So that's the one that perfectly fits. The minis is a little too small, and then the A3 it's a little too big. So the 9-pack tag paper is the one that fits perfectly. So we're going to go ahead and get him glued on there. And I got to make sure I don't roll everywhere. So let me get my decoupage glue. All right. Yeah, and interestingly, my husband was also adopted. His story is a little bit different. He and his biological mom and dad were married when they had him, and so he actually had a different last name, and his parents got divorced, and his dad ended up losing custody, and so his stepdad adopted him and changed his last name. So our last name comes from his stepdad, not his biological dad. So every time people ask me about the origin of our last name and are we German or whatever, I'm like, nope, not at all. So anyway, but so many people have, beautiful origin stories and connected to people making decisions for children, and what's going to be in the best interest of children. All right, so my doorbell just rang. You guys, I'll be right back. I don't know who's here. I'm on a live video. Amelia? Amelia? Oh, there she is. Okay. I'll be in the car. Bye. All right, sorry, one of the girls' parents just came by. Okay, so bye, Amelia. So we'll get this on. Yeah, Jeff was adopted. And my good friend Erica, I see she's on here. We both share similar stories that were happening at the same time. It's funny how you find your community when you're going through something like that. I will tell you also another story. This lady in our Sunday school class, I'll never forget. You would see her every Sunday. She would come in with, it didn't change every week, but she had a series of foster kids and usually babies. So you would see her come in with different babies that she was caring for. And just like, I don't even know how to describe it, but such an advocate for these babies. And I was just so inspired by her. Her name is Lila. I still keep in touch with her, but they go to a different church now. And she would bring these babies into Sunday school class, and it's like she just cared for them, and sometimes she and her family, if the circumstances worked out, like there were two that she was able to adopt. I think she would have adopted them all if she could have. But anyway, so during this whole process, I kept thinking about her and just her, the word I want to use is obedience, is because that's the word that she used for me, is that she felt like she was, this was her calling in life. And she was definitely going to be obedient to that. And so in my case, I wouldn't necessarily call it obedience. It wasn't that I was being obedient, but it was definitely conviction. So like when they ended up in the system, of course I had my doubts, but I knew exactly what I was supposed to do. There wasn't a moment of doubt. Yeah, my son, who I had at 40. So Jeff and I got married a little bit later in life, and we both had other marriages. He actually has older kids from his first marriage. And then when we got married, we had our son. So we had one, and like I said, we were trying to have number 2, but nothing was happening. So anyway, sometimes the answer isn't exactly what you think it's going to be, but it's an answer all the same. And I wouldn't change anything about the situation at all. Yeah. Yep. Well, Sheila, sadly, that's part of our story too, is that whole, just that unfortunate time when so many people became addicted. All right, so we're just going to paint. I did a little bit of blending with earthy brown and mud gray, and then we're going to go ahead and paint with earthy brown. We're going to paint our castings. Unfortunately, we were very fortunate because we don't have, like our kids are perfectly healthy. There are no health issues or anything like that. So yeah, but my friend Lila at the time she was part of my life at the time that we were, this was happening. And I remember like, I was so scared, and I talked to her and I was like, Lila, I'm not like you. And plus it was different because it's, I'm going up against members of my own family to do what's best for these kids. And these were people that I knew, so it wasn't like people that I didn't know and could just give the middle finger to, but I ended up giving them the middle finger anyway. And she looked at me one day, and I told her, I'm like, Lila, I'm not like you. I'm not as fearless as you are. And she looks at me and she said, those are your babies. You will become fearless. And then she said, go get your babies. I know. Well, we're older too. Jeff and I are older. So, which has its own set of challenges, but I wouldn't trade anything. I mean, they're sweet girls. And I'm not sure how they would feel about me talking about them right now. But they are the sweetest. Okay. So anyway, that's what our auction on Wednesday is for. It is for kids who are in this kind of situation. And it's a small thing that we can do together to kind of help, right? So watch for the details on that. That's going to be Wednesday at 8 p.m. There will be some other things too. We may do some of my recent artwork, probably not the oil paintings, but maybe some of our fall, maybe some of the fall churches or fall artwork as well. I really need to destash. There will be some giveaways. We will also take the opportunity to clear out some molds and things that I don't use anymore. So it will definitely be, you're going to want to watch it. Oh my gosh, Rene. Sister Inspiration. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. So sorry. And of course, I don't know how many of you guys know, but my granddaughter is also adopted. So my stepson and his wife, they decided that that's how they wanted to build their family, is through adoption. And I couldn't be more pleased. So my granddaughter will actually be here next week when we're on our live. Hopefully she won't be shy. Hopefully she'll come say hi. All right. So I'm just painting this in this earthy brown. You guys, we're going to get this on here. We're going to paint the rest of the ball red. So I'm not being too careful about my paint because we're going to be doing some red. And we're also going to be doing some velvet powder. This is going to be so cute. I'm very excited about it. I hope so too. I got to find out what time they're coming. I don't know if they're coming Friday or Saturday. She is the sweetest though. All right. All right. I got something down here I got to deal with, but okay. Oh, Pamela. So many people, I know so many people are blessed by having, an adoption story in their lives. And, I can't help but think, and I, Jeff and I talked about kind of continuing whether or not we wanted to be foster parents, and that the circumstances just didn't work out. But I'm so thankful for people who are willing to kind of commit to that journey and loving a child who isn't theirs, regardless of whether or not they're going to be able to keep them. I have no doubt that the family that my children were placed with, that was really the first time that they had, predictability. Like, so they knew where their next meal was going to come from. This woman, she knew she wasn't going to be able to adopt them, but she loved them with her whole heart. And she advocated for them and just, was able to kind of be that transition. Foster care is so important. And the system is definitely not perfect. But people do it anyway, So I wanted to be able to do something to, not only help the kids, but to kind of support these foster parents who are doing the best they can. All right. So here we go. Looks like a hot mess right now, but let's dry a little bit more. I know. And that's, that people say, and I used to talk to Reveille, that's her name, about this, like, that like I would get too attached and I'm not sure that I would be able to handle it. And, what she tells me is that that's exactly, oh, Betty, you're so sweet. She said that's exactly what they need, is somebody who will get attached to them. All right, so let's come in with, I'm gonna get a little bit of this red here mixed with this brown. I'll just tidy this part up here. Okay. That looks pretty good. All right, now we're going to go ahead and paint the whole ornament red. Yeah, it's hard, right? It's definitely the bureaucracy. There's so much red tape. All right, so we're going to do this color. This is Red Vine. And we're going to paint this whole ornament in Red Vine. And the reason we're painting it first, so we're going to do the garnet velvet powder, but we're painting it in the red first, just in case some of that velvet powder doesn't stick the way it's supposed to. Then you won't have like white gaps showing through. So this is kind of your insurance policy, so that we have a cohesive looking ornament. So it's going to be a holly jolly festive Santa belly. I have been so, like, I can't tell you how badly I just wanted to finish this once I started it. It was so hard to wait because I was so stinking excited about this ornament, you guys. And then, but like, I'm like, nope, this is for my live. This is for my demo. So I almost didn't wait though. Like I was like, well, I could just do it and then do another one. But I knew that, I probably, because I don't like to do the same project twice usually. So I knew that I probably wouldn't do another one and I would move on to something else. So I was like, no, they're going to want to see this one. So I waited, y'all. I waited. He's going to be hard to get rid of too, but again, all of them are going to be difficult to part with, but it's all for a good cause. And like I said, if you happen to take one with you, then you're taking, like I said, a piece of my story and my children's story home with you, and hopefully it will continue to bless you and sort of to open your heart to kindness year after year. It will become part of its memory and meaning for you as well. All right. So I'm just sort of painting around here. I have something special planned for you for next week for the Play, Grow, Become auction. We're going to be playing a little bit with patina paints. I am super, super excited to do that one. It's going to be really, really fun. In my head, it's going to be perfect, but who knows how it will turn out in real life. Okay. Oops, got to touch that up. All right. So that Clark's kids, Howard Clark, he does this every year, and my family, we usually, and what they do is they give you like a shopping list where you can go shopping and then you just leave the presents. I think it's at like a local Walmart or something. But you can also just donate the value. You can like sponsor the kids or donate the value. So there's a lot of different ways to contribute. And when we do the auction, I'll also share the link in case you want to go above and beyond, but 100% of the proceeds for whatever we raise on Wednesday will go toward Clark Kids. And in return, 100% of that goes to DFACS to support these kids. So he doesn't keep any administrative fees or anything for it, which, you know, if he did, that wouldn't bother me, but it's pretty awesome. All right, so that red is on there. Let's go ahead and dry this. And then I'm trying to think about what we're going to do with the belt. I don't want to do gold. I think I want to do black. It's red vine. I think I want to do gold around the frame though. So, and I think I want to do black on the belt. So let's play with that a little bit before we get our tacky glue on. All right, let's flip this over and let's get our black. And I'm just going to do this belt part. Because I've already got brown on there, so I think I'm just going to sort of dry brush the black on. Yeah. So it doesn't have to be perfectly black, but it needs to be darker than what it currently is. Because Santa's belt is black, right? And then probably the buckle is probably some sort of bronze. So we will paint that hardware. All right, there we go. That looks pretty good. Let me go ahead and touch up where I got a little too much red here. I'm a little happy. So I'm sure that I missed a lot of comments when I was going through the story, you guys. I will try to go back through and read your comments. I'm sorry I wasn't able to respond to everyone. I know there were several other personal stories being shared. So thank you guys for opening up and sharing with me. I will definitely go back and read through those. It's just hard, you know, when you're trying to concentrate and you don't have somebody reading for you. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. I'm just trying to get all my little white spots covered. All right. One more. Sometimes it's hard to spot them all. Okay. All right. Now let's go ahead and get our hardware done. I think I want to use bronze. Let's use antique copper. Hi, Yasmin. Hope you guys had fun last night. Looked awesome. All right, so here's the copper. Of course, we'll do a little bit of dry brushing on the whole thing as well. Oh, I got this one too. All right, so there's his copper fastener. All right, I think that looks pretty good. All right, so we'll leave it like that. Let's do, I'm trying to think because I don't want to, once I get that decor glue tacky, I'm not going to be wanting to touch it that much. So I'm trying to think about what do I want his frame here to be. And I'm thinking gold, but I'm always thinking gold. So we could, maybe I'll let you guys pick. You know, I always do the gold. I think it's perfect, but it doesn't have to be gold necessarily. Where is my gold wax? So we could do brass. So we could do gold. We could do antique paste brass. We could do regular. This is regular brass. This is antique paste brass. Or we could do gold along his frame here. So I'll let you guys decide. Yeah, I'm just a little stuffy. So brass, antique paste brass, or gold. You guys can decide what we want to do. I have like seasonal allergies, so my sinuses are draining. Gold, antique brass, gold, antique. So no votes yet for brass. We're even with, okay. All right, I think it's going to be the gold. That was my first thought anyway, was the gold. So I think that's what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and get this on here. Let's go ahead and get that on here. And we'll get a little brush or something to get down in along the sides and stuff. And I'm just doing this hardware, and I'm leaving the belt that black brown. I'm going to dry brush it a little bit. All right, now let me get another brush and come in. Gotta be one that I don't really care that much about, because I'm certainly not going to be cleaning it after. It's fine. So I meant to put the links to the little molds that I used on my Amazon store, but I didn't get a chance to. So I will do that later today, so you can find these two little molds. But you can get them, they're Katie Sue molds. I think you can get them on eBay or Etsy or Amazon. And then this one is the Astrid mold from Prima. You could use any oval mold, though. It doesn't have to be this one. Okay. All right, that looks pretty good. I'm going to take a little bit of antique paste, oops, and go along the inside here. Let's take a little antique paste. Yeah, it makes such a difference, doesn't it? All right. So let's take a little antique paste and just sort of work it around. It's like antique paste mixed with a little bit of gold, because I didn't clean that brush. All right. Give Santa a little elevation there. Thank you. Like I said, I'm super, I had this whole piece. I know, no love in the brass. I had this whole piece kind of worked out in my head, and I'm excited for the way it's coming out. Okay, let's do one more thing. I want to do just a little touch of dry brushing. I'm not going to go overkill, but I want to do a little bit of dry brushing on the belt just so we can see some of the details on the belt. So this is the Falcon Brown, I think. It's just some lighter color. So I'm just sort of lightly brushing it over the belt, ever so lightly, just to give it a little bit of aged look. And if you do too much, then you can go back over and dry brush it back with the black. So you can sort of keep doing that, like go black, brown, black, brown. You just want it to sort of look a little aged and not so fresh. Okay, so there's my belt. And I may do one more touch of the black over the top. Okay, like so. Okay. Now, yes, I do too, Betty. All right, now let's do Decor Glue Tacky. And one thing I'm going to do first, before I do that though, you guys, I'm going to replace the cap on here. If I can find my caps. I have a big Christmas bag, and I got some new caps. So let's replace that cap. All right, here we go. Let's do a gold one. And I think we're going to do this one. So I want to show y'all something because I got these really cute caps on Amazon. But the problem is that they do not fit over my hook. So if I squeeze that down in there, it's going to be too, it's not going to work. So what you have to do is you have to like snip this a little bit. I'm waiting for my hot glue to heat up. In the meantime, I might, let's antique this back a little bit. Let's put a little antique paste on this guy so he's not so shiny and fresh. There you go. That looks better. Because the brass one is a little too dull, I think. I want the gold, but I don't want it so shiny. This is just a quick way to like elevate your handmade ornaments. You can just add a new cap to it. I'll be doing a preview post on Wednesday also, so you can sort of see what all's going to be auctioned. Okay, so I've got this like little pair of snippers, you guys. So what we're going to do is we're actually just going to snip a little bit of this plastic. We're just breaking it a little bit. I don't want to break the whole thing completely off because I want something for it to stick down to, but I'm just trimming it so my little cap will fit on there. All right, and now it's closer, but still not quite. So let's do a little more. Cover it so it doesn't fly into your eyes. Maybe a little touch more. More here. There we go. That is just about perfect. Maybe a little too tall. All right. Boom. Okay, so that's going to fit perfectly, and I'll get some hot glue on there. I'll let that heat up. Okay. Get some hot glue in there. And I'll just stick that right on. There we go. So that's how you change out the hook, or just add something a little bit more festive on there. All right, let's do decor glue tacky. I think we're ready for that part. Everything else is done. Let's get our decor glue tacky. And we will carefully work our way. I need to stir this because it's really liquidy. Hold one moment. All right, so decor glue tacky, here we go. We're going to go ahead and put this all over the red parts. Everywhere that we want velvet powder to stick. And it doesn't have to be super thick, just a pretty thin coat. And I'm going to get in there with a detail brush to get into some of the other spots. Isn't it? I'm so excited. I was like, how can I make a Santa suit? And I was like, and I didn't even have to, you guys, the best part is like, so this is why I collect molds, is because you just never know when you're going to need a particular one as like, oh, that could be useful. And this is the one time when like being a hoarder of molds actually came in handy because I did not have to buy them. I already had them. And I'm not even sure. I mean, like I may have used these like one other time. I'm not even sure. But it's like, that's why I collect this stuff, is because sometimes that helps me with the creative process, is like, let me break out what I have and see what's going to work. They're just like basics, right? You know, it's like, I don't know, a belt mold might come in handy at some point. And sure enough, who knew, you know, a belt mold would be the perfect little mold for Christmas time. But those are the best ones when you don't have to like run out and get something special for it. It's like sort of comes together with stuff you already have. All right, I think I got everywhere here. Let's see if I'm missing anything. I don't think so. All right, we will flip that over. Me too, I collect them all. It doesn't matter, and I'll mix and match the brands. That is the one thing that is like, oh, let me just get this one, and this one. If I like it, it's going in the stash. But yeah, so on my auction on Wednesday, I do have several that I know that I'm never going to use. Of course, I say that. The minute I let them go, I'll probably be like, oh, I could have used that one. That's what always happens. But I am going to be doing several giveaways during my auction on Wednesday with some de-stash molds. So that'll be a fun surprise as well. Because I got a few new ones on the way to me now that I don't have room for, you guys. So that's what happens. That's right, Betty. It's not necessarily hoarding. It's more like preparation for the projects that haven't happened yet. I mean, who knew when I bought that one probably 6 years ago that it would be the perfect answer for Santa's belly. All right. All right, now let me take a thinner one and I'll come back around some of these little crevices. So yeah, because once I get this velvet powder on, I'm not going to want to keep touching it anymore. So that's why we sort of finished the rest of it out before the velvet powder. So in this case, my velvet powder is actually going to be my last step. All right, that looks pretty good. Now we'll get this underneath part. All right. Whoop, I just touched it with my finger. All right, here we go. All right, I think I got it. I think I got it. All right. So let's close this up. I do too, Sheila. And okay, so here's the funny thing I actually do not, I hardly ever use stamps. I just don't use them. But I buy them because I have to have them. And then I don't use them and they sit there. And I might pull one out like once every blue moon. So this past time I think I bought one. I bought the Christmas tree stamp because I had to have it. But other than that, I just didn't. But I won't I'm just not going to let them go. Because they are like, oh, well, they don't take up that much room. So your, I missed the spot right here on top. Your decor glue tacky is going to dry completely clear. And once there's no white anymore, that's when you know it's ready to use. Just trying to get a little hair on there. Oop, I don't want any velvet powder on my thing. So, and it's going to look pretty shiny. And that's what I'm inspecting, is to make sure I got everywhere and I didn't miss any spots. Okay. I know. I want to fix something real fast because I want to fix the antique paste around the border because I don't like the gold mix in there. So I'm going to get a fresh brush. Get just some pure antique paste and go around here. I think that'll look better. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, there we go. Oh, that's better. All right, I think we're ready for velvet powder, you guys. I think got one little spot there I need to dry. Oh, Donna, wow, that's amazing. Okay, I think we're ready. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lay a paper towel over my little holder here. Actually, let's go this way. And we'll set this guy down. And let's start. So I'm going to be using the garnet, this one. I'm actually going to take the top off. And let's start with this side. And we're going to sprinkle that on. Start moving it around. My husband saw the little tube and he's like, oh, you're going to need like 3 of them to cover that thing. And I was like, no, believe it or not, it goes really far, which it does if you've ever used it. And I chose the garnet over the red because it's a little bit deeper of a color. I also saw Nancy. Did you guys see Nancy's, her book that she did with the Santa paper, and she covered the front with velvet powder? I had asked her which velvet powder she used, if it was garnet or red, and she said garnet because her little book came out perfect. So thank you, Nancy, for experimenting and finding the right color. Yeah, it was so pretty, right? So I'm going to have to push probably some of this in here. My finger's a little too stubby. So I'm probably going to have to push some of it in there with a little brush. Or just get my nail in there. This makes me so happy, you guys. There is just something about, honestly, a one-of-a-kind piece. Hello.
Are you still alive?
I am.
Okay. We'll be quiet.
Okay, thank you. Huh?
Will we make profits?
Yes, you can.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. But yeah, truly a one-of-a-kind piece. Handmade by someone you know. I think so too. I think the red, the regular red would have been too bright. So I'm able to shake a little bit off, but most of it is sticking, so that's good. All right, now let's flip to the other side. Thank you, Mara. You can see why I wanted to work ahead. Like I was so excited about this ornament, you guys, and like I said, I had to stop myself from just doing it. But I knew that if I didn't do it on a live, everybody and their brother would ask me if I did it on a live, and then I would say no, and then I'd have to do it again. So I was like, well, it's probably better to just wait. So here you go. Delayed gratification. All for y'all. But yes, I have been having so much fun hand making ornaments this season. We're going to keep going until Christmas. The ones that I make after the auction, I'll either put them on my website or I'll save them for next year because I'd like to make the fundraising auction an annual thing. So I may just do them periodically and save them up. All right. Yesterday, so you guys, so with oil painting, oil paintings take about 6 months to dry before you're ready to varnish them. And they need to be varnished before you can sell them. The problem is that I had never signed any of them. So yesterday I spent the day going through my oil paintings and I actually signed all of them. And now I have to wait. Yeah, I don't have to wait a full 6 months, but now I have to wait a little bit longer for the signature to dry so that I can varnish those. And once I get those varnished, those will be ready to move on to their next homes. I haven't really quite decided how I'm going to handle that yet. I know that I need to sell them, but I'm not sure what the best way to go about that is. I was actually thinking about getting a dedicated website for my oil paintings. You know, the price point on oil paintings is high. You know, they can be $500 to $1,000 because of just the sheer amount of time and materials that goes into them. So those are very pricey, and it may be a little bit different audience than what I'm used to. So I'm going to be experimenting a little bit with some of my oil paintings and letting those move on to new homes because I can't keep them all, you guys. So if you guys have interest in any of those, let me know. Just make sure none of that powder sticks to anywhere that it's not supposed to. So you guys, I think we are done. I do need to sign it. All right, y'all, I think we are done. There is our Santa ornament. I feel really good about this. I think he is just beautiful. I am so happy with that. I'm going to put a dark red ribbon on it to hang him with. But you guys, thank you all so much for hanging out with me today and listening to my story. Like I said, I will go back through the comments as well and make sure I didn't miss anything. All right, y'all. So join me next week, next Saturday. It's going to be a little bit different. We're still going to be making an ornament, but I have a 10 a.m. slot in a broader event to benefit Play, Grow, Become, which is an auction fundraiser that's going to be sponsored by Robin Song. She was gracious enough to let me change my time slot to the 10 a.m. slot, which is my normal time since I have family in town. So join me again next week, regular time. Just know that that's going to be a little bit different format. And thank you guys so much for being here with me today and doing this elegant, beautiful Santa ornament. Of course, I'll get some pictures of him done later today. I appreciate you guys so much. Have a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody.